Other agents will ride in a car behind with detection gear for the electronic bug. And while one of the female agents stays with the subject's wife, another one delivers the children to school.
Oh, have a lovely day.
Yes, Mum, you too.
The children will be collected from school the same way and will never be out of the agent's sight. The ostentatious show of arms is all part of the service. The Monty philosophy is that it's better to deter an attack by a show of strength than to let an attack take place and hope to thwart it. It's all part of never giving a crim an even break.
Coming up next on 7, live via satellite from Rotterdam, Everton fight it out with Rapid Vienna in European Cup Winners' Soccer. 8:35 tonight, war comes to a small Australian town.
If they tried to escape, they'd be sitting ducks. We'd slaughter them.
The horrifying conclusion to the Cowra breakout.
Davidson, I'm sick to death of your vivid imagination. Now get back to your post where you belong and stop wasting my time.
The Cowra breakout tonight, 8:35, presented by GMH on 7.
The war that I've always talked about has finally started.
Michael Caine and Henry Fonda star in a powerful story of courage and sacrifice. The Swarm, Friday, 8:35 on 7. All around the world,
It's a pretty sick practical joke.
the disasters,
The victory party had become a major football disaster.
the protests,
Trapper Ray Ackroyd clubbed to death about 200 cockatoos and galahs.
the wonders,
He just came flying out.
and the speculation.
It took just 9 working days for the 80 million 50-cent shares on offer to be snapped up by the WA public.
Wherever it happens, whenever it happens, the 7 national news team will be there every night at 6 on 7. Saturday night in That's Incredible.
His only tools are a magnifying glass, a piece of birchwood, and the burning rays of the sun.
An artist with an unusual technique and a remarkable family of cats.
In all, the Steels have 16 cats, 10 cougars, 4 bobcats, a jaguar, and a lynx.
Plus a breakthrough for bone cancer sufferers and a fantastic laser game. All this and much more in That's Incredible, 7:30 Saturday on 7. What's the latest word in the world of football?
He went up that high, he was wasting time coming down, Fred.
He gets his chance to be in the big stuff and he's murdered by John Todd.
Goodness gracious, you're getting larger by the year. I thought I was biggest.
Well, it's a ridiculous law, Fred. Well, I'm big enough to learn by my mistakes.
Join Tim Flynn and a panel of footy experts for the controversy, the variety and the highlights in World of Sport. 9 o'clock this Sunday morning on Channel 7. Brought to you by Gainers Retrovision Discounts, King G, Victor Glass and NEC.
This is the Major. This is Joe Turner. Identification? My name is Turner. I work for you. Identify yourself. What is your designation? Condor.
Robert Redford is Condor.
You guys bring me in, please.
In the next 72 hours, almost everyone he trusts will try to kill him.
What is happening? I work for the CIA. I am not a spy. I just read books.
Faye Dunaway, the woman he must learn to trust.
I'm scared.
So am I.
This Condor isn't the man his file says he is.
Do you believe the condor is really an endangered species?
Redford and Dunaway. 3 days of the Condor, 8:35 Saturday, presented by the Sunday Times on 7.
What are you doing?
Coming soon to Channel 7, a major television event that tells the true story of Australians facing enemy invasion and of allies who believed we weren't worth saving. Australia is the last bastion, an unforgettable drama of a nation under siege. They called her the Queen of Camelot, but who was Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy? The intimate and untold story of the world's most celebrated woman. She was far more than a president's wife. In war-torn Nicaragua, a photojournalist captures on film a secret that could cost his life. Who can be believed? Who can be trusted in this story of intrigue and love? Under Fire. Sensational television firsts, coming soon to Channel 7.
Europe is waiting for you at the Restore. Tantalizing cheeses, meats and pasta, aromatic coffees, and tempting tidbits from around the world. A large selection of European and Australian wines and liquor. And of course, the Restore's own wide range of famous Farnese wines, made in Australia. Get a taste of Europe today at the Restore, Oxford Street, Leederville, or Lake Street, Perth.
An Italian masterpiece from Furniture Expo will add a new dimension to your life. Created by the very best craftsmen, our range is waiting for inspection and has been imported just for you. You'll find our assistance and experience in furniture invaluable when choosing your masterpiece. Our bulk buying system now makes this exquisite furniture affordable to you. Furniture Expo, 334 Fitzgerald Street, North Perth. Furniture for your way of living.
Hi folks, I bought a Buccaneer pool factory direct because they're the professionals. Now they make, sell and install a pool. They do the lot all in one day. My mate Peter Borello has won an Industrial Design Award and now a supermarket. You can buy a pool, a filter and the equipment all at supermarket prices. Come to Buccaneer Pools, Belmont Avenue, Belmont, see Pete and get the best.
See you folks.
Near the city in Balcata stands a dealer of solid rock. They call him Big Rock Toyota.
Hi, I'm Colin Rockman. You must see and drive the brilliant new Corolla before you buy any other car. If you don't see Big Rock Toyota, we'll both miss out on a great deal.
At Big Rock Toyota. Big Rock Toyota, that is.
On show for the world to see. Yeah, she's the city we love. She's the best in the world, and there's no place we'd rather be. Love you, Perth. Yes, you mean the world to me. Laugh, we cry, we struggle, we try. There's no place we'd rather be. Together we've come a long way, and a friendlier pace puts a smile on my face. It's our place, and we're proud to say, love you, Perth. Yes, you mean the world to me. We laugh, we cry, we struggle, we try. There's no place we'd rather be.
European Cup Winners Soccer is brought to you by Furniture Expo, The Restore, Big Rock Toyota and Buccaneer Pools.
Well, good morning and a very warm welcome. Today, the first of three very big mornings for soccer fans, not just in our normal viewing areas, but right around the country. A special welcome to those of you joining us for the first time, especially in Perth and in Adelaide. This morning, of course, live in a few minutes from Rotterdam, the final of the European Cup Winners' Cup between new English League champions Everton and the illustrious Austrian side Rapid of Vienna. And talking of illustrious, two illustrious men with me to help analyse this morning's game are the coach of the renowned 1974 Socceroos, Rally Rasic, and our present World Cup coach, Frank Arok. Welcome, gentlemen, and we'll join Frank and Rally in a moment. But first, the two teams on the menu of this tantalising soccer breakfast. First, Rapid Vienna, according to the punters, the underdogs. The team, many will say, shouldn't even be there after the way they knocked out Celtic thanks to a replay brought on by crowd violence. But I wouldn't underestimate them, as others may have done on their way to the final. Rapid's true character and enormous power of recovery first became evident in the third-round tie against Dynamo Dresden. Here in the second leg, they had to make up a crippling 3-0 deficit, and they did it in devastating style. They began the road back with a curious penalty, given after a player had fallen, having been pushed by his own colleague. Even the penalty had a hard time going in, buckled netting the rebound after the ball had been hit against the post. They took a further step when Liner scored after getting on the end of a Panenka free kick. Earlier scorer buckled, then scrambled the ball in for number 3, and the two teams were level. They then had another 45 minutes in which to go ahead. That master of penalty kicks, Antonin Panenka, making it 4-0. And with 12 minutes to go, former Barcelona star Hans Krankel hammered home number 5, and Rapid were in the semi-finals. In their semi-final, they met Dynamo Moscow, first at home, and there too, it was their opponents who drew first blood. By the 26th minute, Dynamo had a penalty which Karatayev converted with ease, and Rapid were down by that crucial away goal. And their luck didn't improve later when Panenka missed a penalty, but finally an equaliser from perhaps a man to watch in the final, Leo Liner. Two minutes later, they had the lead when Hans Krankel thumped home a penalty, much to the delight of the home fans. And another 3 minutes on, they had a fairly secure 3-1 home win when Peter Hristic drew more jubilation with a fine goal. In the second leg, the Viennese had no real problems. Just 4 minutes in, Panenka scored a beauty to make the aggregate 4-1, and though Dynamo soon equalised through Bosniakov, Rapid made it comfortably into the final. So to recap on how Rapid got there, they began with a 5-2 aggregate win over Besiktas of Turkey, then that infamous second-round win over Celtic, 5-3 over Dynamo Dresden in the quarterfinals, and in the semis, 4-2 over Dynamo Moscow. But what of Everton, whose favouritism stems not from a roll call among their players, but simply from what they have already done? They all but steamrolled their way to the Home League Championship and are in Saturday's FA Cup final. Even in Europe, they had not put a foot wrong, conceding just 1 goal in 8 matches. By the time Everton went to Holland for the second leg match against Fortuna Sittard, they had scored 8 goals in 5 matches and conceded none. Graham Sharp, who opened the scoring in this match, had scored 3 of them, and here the tireless Peter Reid added the second to take Everton through on a 5-0 aggregate. Fortuna were really easy pickings compared to Everton's next opponents, the fearsome Bayern Munich of West Germany. The first leg at the Olympic Stadium in Munich brought no goals, but it may have been the most important performance by Everton on their way to the final. Bayern had enough stars and experience to put the fear into anyone, and to hold them scoreless at home was a major accomplishment. The Germans, of course, tried every which way to get the ball in the net, including this thumping drive by Soren Lerby, but nothing would go in. Welsh World Cup keeper Neville Southall stood his ground well, and indeed Everton even had a chance to go ahead when Graham Sharp squandered a golden opportunity. But apart from that, the ground was tilting Bayern's way, and in the second half too, the gods seemed to smile on Everton as the Germans missed chance after chance. Somehow the soon-to-be crowned English champions survived, as they did the second leg, which they won 3-1, and put themselves on the doorstep of a mouth-watering League, FA Cup and Cup Winners' Cup treble. So, recapping on Everton's run-up, they started slowly against University College of Dublin, but made easy work of Inter Bratislava, 4-0 on aggregate. Then came Sittard of Holland 5-0, and finally, despite the 1 goal conceded, a 3-1 on aggregate win over Bayern Munich. So the treble is in the offing, which of course is added pressure, and that in turn, some would say, may prove to be their undoing. Rally, can that happen?
Anything can happen, Les, because that's what football about. Cup football is much different than league football, and I think that Everton has so much strength. I would be surprised, but only one thing that I'm worried about, that something has happened to Leeds United a few years back, could probably repeat again. But Everton won the league already, and I think they are in such a great mood. As Kevin Keegan said, you couldn't name single player, but you can name the team and the manager. So I would go all the way for Everton.
But how would a coach, Frank, approach a week in which a team plays a European Cup final on Wednesday and an FA Cup final on Saturday? I mean, you know, those matches take an enormous toll out of their players.
Probably that's the reason they lost the last game in the league, and because they can't concentrate on everything in 8 days. Celebrating the league championship, it is already a big thrill for them. And I'm expecting a very strange game. If the Austrians are capable to hold their own in the first half an hour, it can be a very big surprise. It's a big difference between the two competitions. It's definitely the biggest and the strongest league in Europe is the English league, and to win that one, you should put together at least 20 good games, and they had a very long period of time. They never lost a game, and it is about time to lose something very precious.
Are you suggesting that the favourites might go down?
Could be, easily could be, because as Rale said, it is an entirely different kettle of fish to play a final than to play a league game. And it would be a nice thing to have a real good game. And it's not so every time in the finals, because both teams are very cautious about the result, and they would defend very thoroughly. So I'm not expecting too many goals, but 1 or 2 goals will change the whole play.
Well, that's been the tradition recently in European Cup football. But back to Everton, the momentum is there of them having won all these games in recent months, and everything is going right for them. Surely that's an advantage.
Yeah, it must be, because all right, they won the league easily, but you see, inclusion of 4 members into national squad, it's another 4 members have to prove something more than they had a few weeks before. You know what it means to someone to be added to the national team. But suddenly 4 members from one club, which has been underdog for 10, 15 years to Liverpool, you know, as I said, pointing out at Keegan, he said there is no need for psychological preparation or mental talks to the team. Kendall doesn't have to talk to the team at the present time.
Not while they're winning.
Each player has something to prove, and as Frank said, 8 days. This is a characteristic of English football, only probably in the world that can do that. Only league in the world that can do, and they play normally Wednesday and Saturday. And some of them, as Keegan says, play up to 70, 72 matches a year. So there is hardly any training, it's only matches and recovery.
What is the Everton quality? I mean, it's very difficult to put your finger on just what is it exactly that has brought them all this success this season, the FA Cup last season. How would you distinguish them from other teams, really?
Being underdog for so long as they have been, that mental part of the preparation in professional football would play such an important role. So Liverpool really Everton wouldn't really have to worry about it because league started easily. That spirit was introduced there, and then once Liverpool was on the bottom of the league, they just probably, let's keep Liverpool down below us. I mean, that's a great rivalry between like Manchester United and Manchester City, right? And on the top of it, there were a great number of players who haven't been recognized. And so each one of them had to prove the point. For example, you have now a player of the year in a team. Then you have 4 internationals. Then you have Andy Gray. Then you have a Sharp. You know, it's very difficult to say this is a weak link in a team. And I think the difference between top team and average team is its own strength. Because Everton at the present time hasn't got one bad link. You couldn't point out one bad link in a team.
Right, the Feyenoord Stadium is the venue, as you can see, and I should think a full house there, and I gather that the blue and white flags mean that a lot of Everton fans have travelled across. Frank, the British support for teams in Europe is just about legendary. It is very strong for them, and Rotterdam is not very far from England. Would that also place Everton at an advantage?
Definitely it is a big advantage to have people on your side, but I don't think so that it will disturb in any way the other team, because those teams have been playing big games in the last 6-7 months, and I am not expecting any of those influences to decide a game. Probably what it's already mentioned, that Everton is in good form. They are full of confidence. They are doing things, and they can expect a good, smooth game from their own side. It depends for the other side. Are they capable to come up with something different? And I would say that they are, because they've got a very strange cocktail, having some players from East, I'm telling East, from Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, and those players are a little bit more different. Probably Karančar, Hrstić, and all other ones are going to do some different things and then spoil the whole game. If they are not capable to do so, it will be an easy game for Everton.
Right, let's talk about Rapid for a moment just before we go over there. Their coach is Otto Baric, who's a Yugoslav, and of course a couple of fine players there, particularly in Hans Krunkel, who's a former European Player of the Year. You know Baric, don't you, Frank? In fact, both of you do.
Yeah, I've been against him about 6-7 years, and I can tell you that he's a very shrewd young man. Oh, when I'm talking young, he's as young as I am. We are still young.
Spring chicken.
Yeah. And probably his attitude to the game is very different than the English coaches and managers. He's very much in favor of tricks and good solutions. He's not mechanical. Probably the game will be entirely different from their side and the English side. But I don't think so that they are capable to do it. They are the better side, and definitely the Everton side is the better one.
Okay, well, let's hope we have a good game. We're ready now in Rotterdam, so let's go over there to our commentator, Brian Moore.
It's a mild evening and perfect conditions for football. For Everton's, what they hope will be a night of nights, the first time they or Rapid have been in a European final. I have Brian Clough with me. Brian, how do you rate Everton's chances tonight?
I think they've got a magnificent chance. I'll be very, very surprised if they don't win.
You've been on the touchline, I know, a few moments ago with Howard Kendall, who looked very relaxed indeed. Is that the impression you got?
Well, he was lovely and relaxed. I'm not quite sure why, but he was relaxed. I just hope the champagne doesn't wear off.
Well, let's hope there's champagne for them to celebrate with. if there is to be a celebration later on. We're looking at Michael Consell, the goalkeeper, who's only had 5 games in the Rapid Vienna side, and of course the familiar face there of Peter Reid. And Neville Southall, a superb Everton keeper, playing behind a superb back four. And the story is thought that Austria Rapid might well have a blitz of the first 15 minutes, but before the action, we have a 1-minute silence in memory of those who died and suffered so badly in the fire at Bradford City on Saturday. The world of football has truly united in its sorrow for those who are bereaved. Silence that has been observed around the world where these pictures are going, and observed in the right spirit here in Rotterdam. So it's Rapid Vienna in green and white stripes attacking the goal to our right, but it's Reid on the attack for Everton as Hristich stumbled at a most inopportune moment, and here he is again on the ball, shouldered off.
In Rotterdam for the moment, unfortunately, but let's just talk over this action. Oh, here we are. Brian Moore is back, so let's go back to Brian.
Stevens and Trevor Stephen, and the big number 6 there, Keenas, not really getting it away, the cross coming over, but it's behind for the goal kick. He only joined the club at around about Christmas time, Michael Consell, playing his 5th full first-team game. It's some ordeal for him. Good jump by Ratcliffe. Here's Hristich. And Krankel. Little touch for Brownedder. The feeling is about Panenka, 37 years old, the midfielder is, that he isn't fully fit, and that's why he's been made the substitute, but he might well come on. Gary Stevens in danger of being caught out by Krankel. But a shove in the back provides Everton with a free kick. Pat van der Haal. Kevin Sheedy. And towards Andy Gray. Hristich there first. An all-action player, getting it back to his keeper. This is Weber, the sweeper. Krankja. Weber. Mountfield to Ratcliffe. Van Haal. Sharp trying to come off his man, collecting, finding Reid. Van Haal. Hristich away. Ratcliffe. And not a very good clearance there by Gaga. And Sharp turns it back again towards Andy Gray, and Consell getting it above Gray's head. Frank Jarl giving the ball away. Trevor Stephen there now for Everton. Good, sprightly start this by the English champions. Brownedder. Frank Jarl brought down. The foul by Sheedy. And that's your number one warning, says referee Kazarin. Tankcha, who's a Yugoslav like the Rapid manager, who is Otto Baric. Free kick to be taken by Brauneder. Tankcha. Nice turn by the Yugoslav. But stopped by Bracewell. And now Peter Reid. Trevor Stephen outside him. Andy Gray up front. Sharp at the far post. And Weber doing a good defending job. Everton throw. Gary Stevens looking to be ready to hurl a long ball into that Rapid penalty area. Good long one it is as well, but well caught by the keeper. Mountfield getting there before Packelt. Vanden Howe. Stephen. I think in most people's minds, Everton are slight favourites for this game. Gary Stevens. And Sharp trying to get in, but some good defending that time by the number 3, Kurt Gaga. And a free kick. Early impressions, Brian Clough?
It's competitive. Everton have been the most competitive side all season, and they're not letting it slip tonight either. For a cup final, particularly European cup final, this is as competitive as I've seen in the first 5 minutes for many a year.
This is Liner, the fullback. Ristic. And Ratcliffe, anything just a little too competitive there. Conceding the free kick for the foul on Kienast. Brauneder. Rapid have hardly been in the Everton half so far, with 6 minutes gone if you just joined us. 0-0 in Rotterdam in this European Cup Winners' Cup final. And here's Trevor Stephen now for Everton. Good run. Splendid run there by Stephen, and Gray doing well to change the point of it as Gary Stevens plays it in again. This might come for Sheedy. He's got support here from Vanden Howe, who will now take the throw. Well, of course, they've every right to be confident, Everton. The championship is theirs. And until they came against Nottingham Forest on Saturday, 28 games this year without defeat. That sort of record builds confidence. And some lovely one-touch close stuff here from Everton, being applauded by the Dutch crowd as Vanden Howe plays it in, but it's a simple one for the keeper. Having been to their hotel earlier today, I can't believe how relaxed the whole staff was, and Howard Kendall in particular. Got such an air of confidence about them. Stayed, incidentally, in the same hotel that Aston Villa used in 1982 when they came here and beat Bayern Munich in the European Cup. Free kick to Everton this time. Not that we're superstitious, said Howard Kendall, as he picked up his lucky suit. It's a free kick which Sheedy will take. The time and the testing time for Rapid will come when Sheedy gets a free kick a little closer in. That famous left foot, curling it in well, and a good jump that got it away for the Austrians. Stevens going in well. A touch on there by Sharp, and it won't come through to Gray. Brauneder getting it away. Vanden Howe keeping the pressure on Rapid Vienna. Sheedy again, curling one in towards Sharp. And Gray couldn't quite get in there. But a good start by Everton. Outfield's header. Graham Sharp. 30 goals this season. Kevin Sheedy. Reed. Let's pull a whole coachload of his relatives here. Ratcliffe. Graham Sharp. Peter Reed. Just in the England squad, of course. As is Gary Stevens now, with this cross coming in. And it needed Garga's interception at the expense of a corner to get Rapid Vienna out of trouble. Well, they've brought forward Pat van der Haar to the near post. Mountfield, that exceptional young central defender who scored 14 goals this season, is also up in the box. Needless to say, Andy Gray and Graham Sharp are there too. As the corner comes in for Trevor Stephen, not a particularly good one. Sheedy giving him a chance to repair it. Thought it was coming to Gray there for a moment. This is Packholt, beaten by Sheedy. They try to get a 1-2 going, and Weber gets it back. Keenast. There's some good skill there by the young central defender Keenast, who can play in midfield. Liner towards Frankel. And Gary Stevens getting it away. When you're having such a good start, Brian, you really need, if you can, to make it count as well, don't you?
Obviously, they'd have loved the goal, but the quality of the crosses that's coming in, and absolutely superb. And if they continue, obviously, it's only a matter of time. Because the two strikers of Sharp and Gray, the superb headers of the ball, and if the quality of the crosses are there as well, then you do get yourself a goal.
The signs are there, with Sheedy already has put a couple of beautiful crosses in for them.
And the right-back crosses a magnificent ball also. I think at the moment he's the best right-back in England.
Well, there's the Everton bench, Colin Harvey and Mick Heaton, telling people to get in forward, and particularly they want Pat van der Haar to get in there. Well, here's Paul Bracewell. Lovely little dummy, really sold Weber not once but twice. Everton's throw. Gary Stevens with it. It's a good long throw there. Might come for Trevor Stephen, might come for Paul Bracewell. In the end, it was Feinhofer who got it away. Another long throw coming up from Gary Stevens. He really has got some length on these throws tonight, and Graham Sharp getting there with a backward header. Packholt completely missing his. Sheedy. Gray. Back for Sheedy. Tremendous save. A great move by Everton. Explosive finishing with the right foot there by Kevin Sheedy. And the keeper really had to be at his best. Well, it'll be Sheedy who takes this corner. Taken short. Sheedy again. Again, the good cross coming in towards Andy Gray. Still in play, this time with Trevor Stephen. They're having a great start at the moment, Everton, as Andy Gray tries to get to that one. Beaten in the air, though. Gary Stevens hoping to keep the pressure on them. And the throw goes Everton's way, to the annoyance of the Rapid fans around the ground. Well, with this long one, it could be more problems. Andy Gray up there. And it was Garga who got it over the crossbar, but the whistle had gone for a shove in the back, possibly, and a free kick to Rapid Vienna. And I would think, sort of down on the Everton bench, they are pretty pleased with the way it's gone so far. Weber with the kick.
Well, I'm not here.
Weinhofer with a throw for Rapid Vienna. Here's Weber, who was suspended and missed the semi-finals against Moscow Dynamo for the Austrian side. Pat van der Hau. Sharp. Sheedy. The Packholz. Frankel. And now Gary Stevens. Trying to reach Graham Sharp, but Garga's there. He's a big lad at 6'2". And Constable already showing that, particularly that save from Sheedy, that he's settled down very quickly indeed. Kienast. Fanja. Kristic. Quarter of an hour gone. No score. Fanja. He's got inside Ratcliffe. And a brilliant challenge there by Ratcliffe. Now Gray. Browneder. Fine piece of work there by the Everton defence, by Ratcliffe.
He's the quickest defender in the Football League in the back four, Ryan, he is. It's funny, actually, because Colin Todd, who I used to work with and did play for Everton, he was quick, but this lad is obviously got it far over him. Incredible recovery, that was.
Well, here's Gary Stevens with a long throw, but the long cross, but the flag is up. Frank Jar. Pat van den Hau. And a Rapid Vienna throw. Taken by Leiner. One of a number of Austrian internationals in this Rapid side. Stevens covering nicely for Mountfield. Back to Neville Southall. Sharp, up well. Can Stevens get on the end of it? No, because Weber's there. Peter Reid. Free kick. The foul on Reid. Needless to say, the figure of Kevin Sheedy going across there. Whip, another wicked left foot curling free kick in. Sharp, Mountfield, Gray are all in there. Curling in towards the keeper. Mountfield with the header again, but this time too high. Amazing young centre-back, Derek Mountfield. 14 goals this season. That's what a manager wants.
I'm not sure about a manager. Most centre-forwards would be proud of it.
This is Ristic. To Feinhofer, and now for Frank Jar. And this is Trevor Stephen. Peter Reid. Gray for Sheedy. A little chip towards the far post. And it is really, as we used to say in the trade, one-way traffic, this.
Resembles a one-way street. You can only go one way, and Everton are only going one way at the moment. They're going forward. I'm staggered the progress Sheedy's made since he joined the club. It's extraordinary.
Well, he was with Liverpool before he joined Everton. Mountfield going for this one, winning it quite comfortably. Van den Hau. Bracewell. playing with such style and confidence, and as yet not quite the finishing touch. But here's Trevor Stephen. Weber's got his hands full, but he got in the challenge. But Everton get the throw. And Pat van den Hauwe, a man born in Belgium, brought up in London, played for Birmingham, now for Everton, and a Welsh international too. Here he is. Van den Hauwe with a long cross there. Consell again up well, but unfairly challenged by Andy Gray. And the free kick given. No doubt about it, talking to the Austrians in the last couple of days, they are terrified at the prospect of Gray and Sharp, particularly in the air.
They get nothing like that in their league. And they're entitled to be a little bit perturbed as well, because the two strikers of Everton are superb headers of the ball and extremely brave young men.
Well, the free kick to be taken by Weber. Ratcliffe, again, comfortably winning it in the air, but Reed and Everton appear in midfield to be picking up everything that's loose. Stevens finding Gray. It's Krankel. Sheedy. Gray. Will he try and get Sheedy in again? No, the challenge was there and was too quick for him. Van den Hauwe. Sharp peeling away and finding Ratcliffe. That came off Krankel and conveniently for Sheedy. Reed. Now Stevens. Townfield will get there first and take no chances. Well, the buzz around the television commentary points about an hour before the game was that the message from the Austrian camp was that they were going to surprise Everton by going all out as though they were playing at home and try to blitz them in the first 15 minutes. In point of fact, they've hardly been in Everton's half. Brian, you're smiling.
Well, you've got to smile about that when you hear about buzzers like that, because nobody can pre-plan a cup final to that extent. When you're playing the English League champions, a blitz for 15 minutes, the blitz has been on the other foot.
It's no doubt this is brown header, but during this time of some trial for Rapid, as they can hardly get out of their own half, they, I think, would be fair to say, they're missing the steadying influence of Panenka in midfield, the brilliant Czechoslovakian midfield player. Well, he's on the subs bench, and I've no doubt at some point during the evening he'll be on. Play on, said the referee. So Sheedy, with just a chance to poke it in there towards Bracewell. The cross towards Andy Gray. It didn't quite reach him. It looked for a moment as though it was going to. And again, it's Everton's throw. Bracewell, Van den Hauwe, sharp on the charge, but beaten in the air by Gaga. They're all over the place at the moment.
The pace of the game is too much for them, for the opposition at the moment. They're not quite sure how to handle everything, but they are hanging in there. Everton still haven't got the goal they desperately need, so they could settle down totally.
Mountfield. Here's Crankjar. Weber. This is Weinhofer. Oh, a lovely bit of play again by Everton. As Bracewell gets into line for a shot, just wide of the Rapid goal. Graham Sharp peeling off there, but it was Bracewell's shot. And a good arresting sort of run through the midfield as Gaga takes the goal kick. Brandon Howe. Well, Andy Gray's got in behind them there. And they've got a corner. Just over halfway through the first half, if you've just joined us, in this European Cup Winners' Cup final in Rotterdam, Everton 0, Rapid Vienna 0. But the game has been going solidly Everton's way almost from the first whistle. Comes out to Peter Reid. Sheedy crossing it again. The quality of that cross is there. Mountfield trying to get on the end of it. Goal kick. Rapid Vienna, who have been in the doldrums for quite a few years until Otto Baric, their Yugoslav coach, joined them some 3 or 4 years ago. Back in the 50s, they were the team in Europe. With some of the older viewers will remember the likes of gentlemen of Otsvik and Hanapi and Happel. Otsvik, I remember we used to call him Ockwork, Clockwork Ockwork. But they really were a great side. This is their first European final, and they've been under the cosh almost from the word go as it gets back to Southall again. Radcliffe to Reid. Everton building up methodically. Everybody except Southall now in the Rapid half of the field. Trevor Stephen trying to get in with a header, and Weber getting it away. Reid again. Stevens. And Keenast keeping a very close watch on Andy Gray. And Gary Stevens getting it away once more. Miraculously, the ball has stayed in and it's fallen for Andy Gray. Played in lower this time, but Gaga, who's put in some good defensive work there for Rapid, getting it away, and a free kick for the foul on the number 10, Weinhofer. Rapid, who got here by way of beating Besiktas of Turkey. Celtic in the most controversial terms. Of course, if you remember, there were claims that a Rapid player was hit by a bottle. In fact, Weinhofer, who's on the ground at the moment, was the one. Rapid appealed to UEFA. They decided the match should be replayed, and the Austrians won it 1-0 at Old Trafford. And I know that Celtic and their fans are still seething about that. In fact, I saw one banner around the ground saying Celtic should be here. Well, Weinhofer's okay. Notice Colin Harvey on his feet down on the bench. Frankel trying to get underneath this one, beaten in the air by Gary Stevens, and Trevor Stephen a long way back to his keeper. Radcliffe. Brandon Howe. Mountfield. Stephen. Mountfield. Sheedy. There's space for Gary Stevens. And his cross comes in, but Weber's there for Rapid. Thankjar hits it straight at Peter Reid. Battled his way through there. Bracewell really stiffened up the midfield. And Gaga again beating Sharp to it. But here's Pat van den Houw. Again, a good-looking cross coming in. The Austrians missed it. And so too did Andy Gray. But it just flicked off the defender. And it means another corner for Everton. coming up to half an hour gone, and still no score, and Kevin Sheedy with the corner for Everton. Keeper coming for it over Andy Gray's head. Gary Stevens trying to return it, goal kick. It's probably a daft question, Brian, but with all this pressure, how important is it that Everton should have made something of it and got a goal?
Well, with only half an hour gone, there's still a long, long way to go, and I genuinely can't see any resemblance of threat to the Everton back four at the moment. Krankel's strolling around. In fact, I think you can make a comeback.
No, I think not. Sheedy. And there's Sheedy again. Buzzing and they're busy. And a good ball. The flag has stayed down for Andy Gray on the far side. Sharp's got into the box. Bracewell's come up. Here's Gary Stevens. There's plenty of blue in there. But that time the cross wasn't quite good enough. And it's another goal kick. As you say, they're still hanging in there, Rapid Vienna, with a half an hour gone, 0-0. And Rapid, having beaten Celtic in rather dubious circumstances in the second round, then beat Dynamo Dresden, and in the semi-final, 2 excellent matches against Dynamo Moscow. So there's quality in this side. But we haven't seen a good deal of it yet tonight. As Mountfield now plays the long ball towards Sheedy. But Liner gets it back. Here's Weber. Ristich. Frankjar. Liner the fullback. Frankjar. 14 caps for Yugoslavia. Plays a nice little ball for Histrich here. And the cross coming in. And Krankel's header. Well, Brian was saying a moment ago we've seen very little of him. And they say you have to wind this fellow up, but when he gets into the penalty area, he's so often deadly. They call him the Grey Pigeon. With 69 Austrian caps and Europe's leading scorer, albeit back in 1978 with 41 goals. There is always a threat in Hans Krankel. This might come for Reed, shrugging off one challenge, but that was a little too much for him as Fristich finds Krankjar. Sheedy in again very quickly. Sharp hoping to capitalise, but Garger there. Now Brauneder, the left back. Back again for Brauneder. Same stadium, of course, where back in 1963 Spurs won the European Cup Winners' Cup against Atletico Madrid. Here's Peter Reid, the night when Jimmy Greaves and Terry Dyson, I remember, were in such sparkling form, the sort of form that Everton are showing at this moment, but it's still 0-0. And where 3 years ago, Brian, we saw Aston Villa beat Bayern Munich. Here's Bracewell. Oh, it nearly came all the way through, and a goal kick. Oh, trying to up the pace a little bit now, Rapid. Ristich. Weber. Ristich. Krankjar. Got Hackholt in the middle. Goal kick again. Oh, this is Krankjar, who's a lively little player, just playing in behind Krankel. Brandon Howe. Sharp, good play. Got past Garger, but Weber there, the sweeper, doing his job, and here he is again. Well, he took too much on there. Gray now finding Sharp. Gray having sprinted back to the far post. Bracewell's gone to the near post. And they were in a bit of a flummox for a moment there, and it could so easily have fallen for Bracewell. In the end, Conseil was happy to pounce on the ball. Brandon Howe. Towards Andy Gray on the far side. He's up so well, but the pass wasn't directed quite well enough for Trevor Stephen, who was coming in quickly. Brian?
If you can head a ball too well, Andy Gray did it then. If it is slightly misheaded, it would have fallen into the path of somebody. I'm afraid it's just a case of when the dam's breached, and then it'll collapse.
Krankjar. But here comes Hristich. The dam is not being breached at the moment. Indeed, it's the Austrians beginning to look threatening as they find Krenkel on the far side. Brownet has gone away outside him. Krenkel to Krankjar. A slip at the crucial moment and a free kick for them. Now this is where they would have loved to have had Krenkel on the field, who is Kevin Sheedy and Michel Platini all rolled into one with the way he curls his free kicks, and I'm wondering who will take them now. Should be a little more straightforward. Hristich is behind it, and Krenkel and Krankjar. So the Everton wall lines up. Looks as though it's going to be Hristich who will fire one. Krankjar. Well, that wasn't in the Panenka mould by a long way. No problems at all for Neville Southall. Neville, who picks up the Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year award, a great honour that, and a very worthy recipient indeed. He does that tomorrow night in London. Ratcliffe. Brandon Howe. Well, he's gone round his man somehow, and a good piece of play by Brandon Howe. Beginning to open up a little bit now as Rapid come forward with Brown-Edder. Krenkel away on his left. Here's Krenkel. Sweeping ball to Krankjar. Stopped by Sheedy. Supported by Bracewell. Andy Gray in for Peter Reid, taken beautifully in his stride. Here's Trevor Stephen. Gary Stevens. Stephen again. Weinhofer. Krankjar. Hristich. And there we saw again the speed of Ratcliffe getting across there. And a free kick given to Everton. The foul by this fellow, Peter Hristich, a new Austrian international, on Kevin Ratcliffe. But again we saw, as Brian Clough was saying, the speed of Ratcliffe as he came across and saw the danger there, coped with it. Peter Reid. Mountfield. Stevens. In towards Sharp. Having a word there with Gaga. Oh, he thought he may have got a knock in the face, and Sharp laying it on the line to the Austrian defender. If you just joined us, some 7 minutes to go to half-time. Still 0-0 here in Rotterdam between Everton and Rapid Vienna. Good support from the Everton fans here. They reckon there might be as many as 25,000 of them. Well, they'll be cheering now as Andy Gray takes it up. That's a clear obstruction there by Weber. And it'll be a yellow card for the rapid sweeper, number 5, Herbert Weber, and a free kick to Everton. Enter Kevin Sheedy. "16 goals this season for Sheedy. Maybe he would have fancied it 2 or 3 yards further in. The Rapid manager has been studying videos of Everton. He came to see their match against West Ham at Goodison Park. It's Sheedy curling it. Outfield on the far side! And it's been ruled out. Andy Gray's goal will not count. Brian Clough.
I saw the linesman's flag go up, and I thought the decision was a bit harsh, actually, because the lad didn't move till the ball had been played, but I'd have to see it again. He's offside as well.
Offside, no problem. Fine piece of work by Mountfield. He got up so well with the header.
It'll be interesting to see at half-time if we can get it again, just if he was offside.
Well, I'm sure back in the studio that's something that Ron Atkinson will be looking at. It's Peter Reid now for Everton, still 0-0. 5 minutes to go to the interval. Sheedy. Bracewell. Ratcliffe. Reid. Space and time. Mountfield. Stevens. Here goes Peter Reid. And a goal kick. It's almost unreal for a cup final, this, Brian, isn't it? I mean, to be so one-sided. Although it still stands at 0-0.
And Everton will have to keep the composure, because there's nothing more frustrating than knowing that you've dominated 45 minutes and you see nothing on the score sheet. They'll have to keep the composure and they'll have to keep playing football. That might sound a little bit balmy, but I mean short stuff. Don't rely too much on Gray and Sharp up front, despite the fact that the good crosses of the ball and good headers. Reid and Bracewell will still have to control the game.
At the moment, they have a little defending to do. As Weinhofer tries to make progress, goes down, gets a free kick. Well, they brought 1 or 2 forward, including the fullback Reiner and Brown-Edder, the left back, and Keenast, who's a big 6-footer. Andy Gray spotted him a little bit late and has now got back into that Everton penalty area. Here comes the free kick, and it's played for Ristic, who drives a fair ball, but that time hit it straight at Everton. And now if Everton can break out quickly, there might be chances. Sharp, but the green shirts are getting back. Stevens. It's Mountfield. Back again by Gray to Van den Hauwe. Oh, and a good ball played through. Play on, says the linesman on the far side. Sheedy hitting it straight at the defender. Van den Hauwe. He's having a fine game to Van den Hauwe. Oh, both the keeper and Trevor Stephen missing that one. And Gary Stevens, in his desire to get in for the ball, is going to get a yellow card. So a yellow card then for Gary Stevens for the challenge on the Brown-Edder.
A little bit harsh that, Brian, the booking. I'm not quite sure what the referee has booked him for, actually, because he went low. He did go a fraction late, but it was a genuine tackle, and the right back can consider himself unlucky.
There's about 1.5 minutes to go to half-time, Brian. How would you sum up now this first half?
Well, as we've talked about, it's been one-way traffic for 45 minutes. They haven't done the one thing that every side's got to do. Wants to win a match, that's score a goal. But I genuinely think it's only a matter of time And at the risk of repeating myself, they'll not have to let frustration creep in. Because when frustration creeps into any side, things like bookings and missed chances and all sorts can crop up. Keep the composure, get the feet up at half-time, and I genuinely think it's only a matter of time before the score.
Well, I'm sure there are words that will be well received, particularly on Merseyside. Let's hope it's right. Good play by Reid. What an inspiration he is again in the middle of the field, but Mountfield needs to get back. There was a shove. In fact, by Crankjar on Mountfield, it looks suspiciously it may have been the other way, but the referee's given Everton the free kick. Here's Gary Stevens. Here is Gary Stevens, but then stopped. Trevor Stephen sending the ball out to Sharp, but it won't reach Gray. Their keepers handled everything well, Brian.
He showed a lot of composure in the last 20 minutes, and he stopped a good shot from Sheedy with his right foot, who played a 1-2 Sheedy did on the edge of the box. And
well, here's Sharp. No Keenast is there.
And had an absolute cracking save. And that, as everybody knows, builds goalkeeper's confidence up more than anything else.
So a half-time whistle. The first 45 minutes dominated almost completely by Everton, but nothing to show for it on the score sheet. And as Brian Clough says, they will need to go in and get their feet up and tell themselves to be patient and stay composed. Rapid Vienna 0, Everton 0. We'll be right back after the break with the views of Ron Atkinson.
Yes, the game tilting Everton's way. They're putting the pressure on, but still no goals, except for that disallowed effort, which of course is not good enough. We'll be back to analyse that first half with our guests Rally Rashid and Frank Arok after this short break.
Near the city in Balcatta stands a dealer of solid rock. They call him Big Rock Toyota.
Hi, I'm Colin Rockman. You must see and drive the brilliant new Corolla before you buy any other car. If you don't see Big Rock Toyota, we'll both miss out on a great deal.
At Big Rock Toyota. Big Rock Toyota, that is.
An Italian masterpiece from Furniture Expo will add a new dimension to your life. Created by the very best craftsmen, our range is waiting for inspection and has been imported just for you. You'll find our assistance and experience in furniture invaluable when choosing your masterpiece. Our bulk buying system now makes this exquisite furniture affordable to you. Furniture Expo, 334 Fitzgerald Street, North Perth. Furniture for your way of living.
Hi folks, I bought a Buccaneer pool factory direct because they're the professionals. Now they make, sell and install a pool. They do the lot all in one day. My mate Peter Borello has won an Industrial Design Award and now a supermarket. You can buy a pool, a filter and the equipment all at supermarket prices. Come to Buccaneer Pools, Belmont Avenue, Belmont, see Pete and get the best.
See you, folks.
Europe is waiting for you at the Restore. Tantalizing cheeses, meats and pasta, aromatic coffees and tempting tidbits from around the world. A large selection of European and Australian wines and liquor. And of course, the Restore's own wide range of famous Farnese wines, made in Australia. Get a taste of Europe today at the Restore, Oxford Street, Leederville or Lake Street, Perth.
I'm Valerie Taylor, and I've been trying to get sharks to bite me.
Saturday night in Susanna Carr's Land Down Under. Join two of the world's foremost underwater photographers, Ron and Valerie Taylor, when they take on one of man's most feared enemies, the killer shark, and offer themselves as human bait. Only modern technology separates the killer's jaws from the diver's fragile bodies. A death-defying adventure in Susanna Carr's Land Down Under. 6:30 Saturday on 7.
And welcome back. And a reminder that the score at the Feyenoord Stadium in Rotterdam between Everton and Rapid Vienna, 0-0. Rally Rashid, It was, as Brian Moore and Brian Clough said, very much Everton's first half, but things might change in this second if the pattern continues.
It's unfortunate that the game of soccer has to be always decided by goals. You see, it's 45 minutes of soccer on one goal. It seems from time to time really like a practice match, but unfortunately there is no final finish, which is characteristic of Everton's football. But what I really noticed that Everton is not capitalizing on the crosses, which they are really good at. Only Sheedy is given just so much space, and they, on a number of occasions, that from left to right was magnificently played, but still that finishing is not there, as I said, which is really a characteristic of Gray and Mountfield, who is coming absolutely brilliantly from behind.
Frank, what should Everton be doing now? I mean, if you were in their shoes, just continue this relentless pressure or change something, because they're not getting the goals.
I don't think so that they can change too many things in that game, because they are good in pressurizing. They are not really capable to play a Brazilian type of game, to let the other side to come out and then try to counter-attack. But that's the only way to fight the Rapid Vienna, because they are defending very thoroughly and very cleverly, getting back in the funnel. And the most important, I was very surprised with their strength in the air. And
at the back.
Yeah, of course. They won nearly everything in the air, and then all the crosses on the far post never been working properly.
Right, so the fact that they were terrified of the high crosses really...
I'm expecting that they will be terrified, but they've never been. And if the game would open up a little bit more, I would say that the Everton players would have much more chances.
All right, let's have a look at some of the highlights of that first half, beginning with an incident that came in the 12th minute when a very good save was brought out of the Austrian keeper by Kevin Sheedy.
From Gary Stevens, he really has got some length on these throws tonight, and Graham Sharp getting there with a backward header. Huckle completely missing his. Sheedy. Gray, back for Sheedy! Tremendous save, a great move by Everton.
Well, that could have turned the tide, really, couldn't it? I mean, that ball could have so easily have gone in. An excellent save by the keeper, which would have changed the pattern.
It's exactly what Frank said seconds ago. If Everton would continue doing this, what Sheedy does, they would find the net much quicker and much easier, because that's purely individual work, isn't it? He beat 2-3 men.
Rather than what?
Rather than crossing the ball time after time, I think that they are sort of being signaled in advance that the cross will come from either side. So they are, of course, you must congratulate the coach who already has prepared his defense to counter-attack, and absolutely excellent goalkeeping of Cancel.
Well, in fact, all of the incidents that we kept from that first half, all but one, were at the Everton end, or at least at the Rapid end, in other words, were created by Everton, and so was the second, which came in the 24th minute, where Graham Sharp had an opportunity, but his shot went just wide.
This is Weinhofer. Oh, a lovely bit of play again by Everton, as Bracewell gets into line for a shot, just wide of the Rapid goal.
Yes, another chance there, Frank, for Everton. But what about Rapid? Do you think they have come into this game with this approach to bide their time in that first half, expecting Everton to pile on the pressure in the way that they were expected to do? And in that sense, are they doing what is expected of them so far?
I'm not quite certain what was the plan of the coach for that game, but when you are forced to defend, you have to defend. And it was so one-sided that you really couldn't do anything else, just to be concentrated on everything and then try to hold that ball. And that's the biggest surprise for me, that in the first 20 minutes they never tried to hold that ball, or never tried to waste time, just to settle somehow down. And I would do the similar thing, just like Baric, that you have to contain the English teams. And probably they've been doing their homework on that team, because everything was according to the expectation. The ball would come always on the side and then cross and cross and cross. So they've been doing the right thing against them. But they never done anything for themselves, only in the last couple of minutes. And that's the biggest problem.
Right, one more opportunity in front of the Rapid goal, which came 4 minutes later. And here it was a beautifully driven cross. And Andy Gray, the master header, just missed his opportunity.
Mountfield. Stephen. Mountfield. Sheedy. There's space for Gary Stevens. And his cross comes in, but Faber's there for Rapid. Frankjar hits it straight at Peter Reid. Battled his way through there. Bracewell really stiffened up the midfield. And Gaga again beating sharp to it. But here's Pat van den Houw. Again, a good-looking cross coming in. The Austrians missed it. And so too did Andy Gray. But it just flicked off the defender. And it means another corner for Everton.
Yes, a good-looking cross rally there. The beauty of it was that it was played from the left side with the right foot. And it may have been the thing that bewildered Andy Gray himself.
He was surprised because defender did the right thing, because he finds himself in the front of the opponent. That's exactly how correct approach from the defender.
But everyone missed that ball. Everyone missed the ball.
No, but then he stood in the front of Gray completely, and Gray couldn't possibly see the ball.
That's right, he may have been blinded. OK, we're almost ready to go back to the second half, but before we do, for our viewers in Perth and Adelaide, a short break.
Hi folks, I bought a Buccaneer pool factory direct because they're the professionals. Now they make, sell and install a pool. They do the lot all in one day. My mate Peter Borello has won an Industrial Design Award and now a supermarket. You can buy a pool, a filter and the equipment all at supermarket prices. Come to Buccaneer Pools, Belmont Avenue, Belmont, see Pete and get the best.
See you, folks.
Near the city in Balcata stands a dealer on solid rock. They call him Big Rock Toyota.
Hi, I'm Colin Rockman. You must see and drive the brilliant new Corolla before you buy any other car. If you don't see Big Rock Toyota, we'll both miss out on a great deal.
At Big Rock Toyota. Big Rock Toyota, that is.
An Italian masterpiece from Furniture Expo will add a new dimension to your life. Created by the very best craftsmen, our range is waiting for inspection and has been imported just for you. You'll find our assistance and experience in furniture invaluable when choosing your masterpiece. Our bulk buying system now makes this exquisite furniture affordable to you. Furniture Expo, 334 Fitzgerald Street, North Perth. Furniture for your way of living.
Europe is waiting for you at the Restore. Tantalizing cheeses, meats and pasta, aromatic coffees and tempting tidbits from around the world. A large selection of European and Australian wines and liquor. And of course, the Restore's own wide range of famous Farnese wines, made in Australia. Get a taste of Europe today at the Restore, Oxford Street, Leederville or Lake Street, Perth.
Such a strong team so far as Everton is. You know, the teams, the opposition they played in past, to come towards Everton, they haven't met really a strong team as Everton is.
Viewers in Perth, TVW7, welcome back. We're not quite ready to go back to that second half, so we'll continue analysing the situation. Frank, what about Everton? I mean, you said that they really can't change their pattern. That's the way they play. But is there something that Howard Kendall should do or would be telling them at half-time to change things for this second half?
There are some solutions for them because.
For instance, Raleigh was saying about the long crosses and they should play it on the floor the way Sheedy did there and
but
so.
They are capable to play on the floor, and they've done it at least 50 times this year. They are capable to vary their game, and probably the midfielders are not doing their part so far.
Okay, thanks very much, Frank. We're back ready for the kick-off in Rotterdam. So back to our commentator, Brian Moore.
So welcome back here in Rotterdam, 0-0. Everton then will get us underway as soon as Paolo Casarin, the referee from Italy, acts as you were seeing at half-time, although we haven't seen a replay of it here in Rotterdam. There was a distinct possibility that Andy Gray's goal might have been onside. Well, it's still 0-0. That one didn't count. Kevin Sheedy with a long ball there, which Brown had a heads for Stevens now to play forward. I wonder, Elton Wellesby down on the track side, if you can acquaint us to what the feeling was in the Everton dressing room at half-time.
Brian, I can do better than that. John Bailey, one of the Everton subs, is sat right beside me. John, what was Howard Campbell, Mick Heaton and Colin Harvey saying in there during the interval?
Well, there wasn't really much to say, Elton. The lads have been doing ever so well, and all it was a matter of them to just tell them to keep it going, but stay on your toes at the back, because we've got so much of the ball, and let's just watch out for their breaks. And I'm sure you've seen Neville Southall shouting all the time from the back just to keep them on our toes, because we've got so much territorial advantage, and that's the main thing he was just stressing. Otherwise, just keep it going, and the game will be ours.
Well, precisely the words, really, that Brian Clough was saying just before half-time, to keep their composure and their professionalism and their patience. Of course, there has to be a decision here tonight. If it's still level at the end of 90 minutes, we go into extra time, and my word, if it's like that at the end of that, we get those heart-thumping penalties again. There will be a decision here tonight. Faber, who's already been booked. Well, he looked as though he may have been offside there, Krenkchuk, but that's a case in point there for Everton to stay on their toes. The break was on, the cross was in, Brian Clough.
The referee was watching the ball, actually, and the linesman, particularly the linesman, obviously, because he's responsible for offside. He was watching the ball, and the guy was definitely offside.
Well, it creates just a minor problem here for Everton as Rapid Vienna get this corner, their first of the game, which Peter Histrich will take, and Gary Stevens quite comfortably getting it away. But the warning was there for Everton, and I know it's one of Brian Clough's old feelings that all the time you're at 0-0, even if you're being overrun, you're always in with a chance. Well, certainly Rapid Vienna were overrun in that first half, but here's a good long throw. Vanden Hauwe getting up well to get it away. Peter Reid helping it on its way. Graham Sharp is there, but the whistle had gone. Free kick to Rapid, and rapidly taken as well. Ristich. Good play here, and Crenshaw is through, and Krenkel himself tried to get in. It's over the top, and a goal kick. Crenshaw, in fact, the little lively number 7, was brought down, and a free kick in the end given in Everton's favour, the foul by Krenkel. Here's Gary Stevens. Long and high towards Graham Sharp. Nodded into the path of Andy Gray. They badly want this goal, Everton. Stephen. In fact, he had Kevin Sheedy in a bit of space on the far side and didn't pick him up. Reid. Oh, caught out there. Ristich on the charge. Reid repairing the damage. Finding Trevor Stephen. There's, if anything, you suspect more urgency about Rapid in the opening minutes of the second half, but is Everton now with Andy Gray brought down by Weber, who's already been booked, and a free kick to Everton. Brian?
They're scrapping a bit more, the opposition, though, for the first few minutes of second half. And it's made it more of a match. They've been in the Everton penalty area more in 5 minutes than they were in 45.
Sheedy curling one in, and Mountfield getting in. I thought that was sure to go over for the goal kick, and now he's got to get back and defend. As Ristich, and here's Krenkel. Stevens has got to cut him off. Krenkjaw is waiting in the middle. Keenast is coming up fast, but it's still with Hans Krenkel, and Ratcliffe putting it behind for another Rapid Vienna corner. They didn't get one in the first half. They're now getting their second one in the first 4 minutes of the second. Ratcliffe then looking around to make sure people remain marked up. And Skrankel, the captain, and 32-year-old striker with it. Finding Hristich. Deep cross towards the far side, and Everton getting it away quite comfortably. And a powerful shot there from Gaga. Liner putting it in, and Southall gathering quite comfortably. Renewed shouting from the Rapid Vienna fans now, seeing a little more coming from their side in the early part of this second half. Still 0-0 in this European Cup Winners' Cup final in Rotterdam. Ratcliffe towards Gray. Bracewell. Stephen. And Braunedder. Weber to his keeper. Braunedder. The Austrians clearly distressed, though, when the result of the World Cup game in Budapest yesterday went so much against them, when Holland beat Hungary and eliminated the Austrians from the World Cup finals. Looking for compensation here tonight. But Bracewell for Everton, and another corner. Now it's the turn of the Everton fans to raise their voices. Kevin Sheedy doesn't take this corner. It's going to be Trevor Stephen on the far side. Again, Derek Mountfield up from the back. Sheedy, number 11, you can see there. In fact, he's just outside the penalty area. And the referee looking intently for anything that might be going on the goal line there. It was Weber who got that one away. Bracewell. Can he get his cross in? No, but he gets another corner. Surely soon Everton will make something count. Mountfield up there again. Stephen once again with the corner. Floated in there. The keeper didn't get to it. And in the end, Hristich hacking it away anywhere to safety. And in that challenge at the near post, Rapid defender Gaga is down and injured. He's had a big influence in the centre of the defence. At 6'2", they planted him there with Keenas to see off the aerial challenge of Gray and Sharp. Well, get on with it. And you too, Ref. Everton throw then. Vanden Houwe. To Reed. Now back to Reed again from Ratcliffe. At Vanden Houwe. And Keenast getting it away. Mountfield's header might just put Reed in the clear. Bracewell. And again. And the cross this time towards Andy Gray. Goal kick. Sheedy. Losing it to Frankel. Oh, he's tripped Ratcliffe. He's found Hristich. The flag is down. Reiner's making a break, and Vanden Houwe spotted it. Southall there. Talk about the need for patience and not getting frustrated on the field. How does a manager, how would Howard Kendall be feeling at this time, Brian, do you think?
He'll be slightly concerned that they haven't cashed in on the amount of play they've had, and a little bit of pressure, obviously, but he won't be too concerned yet. You know, there's a long way to go in this match.
Reed. Here's Hristich. Keenast and Weinhofer. Here's Sheedy. Keenast getting back now. as Sheedy sprays it white and an offside flag is up. Not a popular decision with the Everton fans who are level with it. They may be slightly prejudiced, but the Italian linesman remains unmoved. He's done a fabulous job, Howard Kendall, in calming everything down leading up. I mean, it's really been such a fabulous 10 days or so for Everton. They only arrived in Rotterdam last night. They didn't train anywhere in Holland at all, which surprised everybody. They didn't even come and inspect the pitch. They're flying back to Merseyside immediately after this game. They've got tomorrow off. They're going to do a bit of training at Goodison on Friday and then leave for Wembley, as Howard himself says, as though it really were just another game against Manchester United, which of course it won't be. But here are Rapid Vienna. Good stern challenge again, that time by Vanden Hauwe. Bracewell putting Reed on his way. Here come Everton in blue again. That looked like a foul, and indeed it was, by Hristich. Sheedy curling it in towards Andy Gray, trying to get it back to Sharp, and Sharp's holding them all off at the moment. Got a bit of support here from Gary Stevens. Good play. Can he get a cross in towards Andy Gray? No. Keenast was there. Vanden Hauwe. Gray again, trying from a different angle. Reed once more. Feinholfer's header only going as far as Mountfield. Let's see what we can find on the other side of the field. Lost in again by Vanden Hauwe. There comes the keeper. Still can't find a way through. And for all this Everton pressure, I suppose it must also reflect, Brian Clough, that the Austrians are defending quite competently as well.
The two middlemen in the back four have headed it and competed with Gray and Sharp as good as I've seen this season. And the goalkeeper's confidence is growing. It's just a case of if they can hang out.
Hristich. Oh, the back pass might come to Sharp. He's got Andy Gray in there. That's the goal. Given away by Vienna in the end. And Andy Gray capitalised with help from Graham Sharp superbly. There's the back pass that was never going to reach its man. Here comes Graham Sharp. Eluding the keeper, eluding the challenge. He looks up. What a ball that is. And what a lovely left foot finish there by Andy Gray. Everton in the lead. Brian Clough.
I do realise it was a bad back pass, but Sharp does absolutely magnificently here. He could have gone down there for a start. He even finds time to look up. And then he nearly puts it through the goalkeeper's hands. In fact, I think he did. And Gray tucks it in beautifully.
Well, it was the goal that Everton richly deserved, and now they'll go storming forward and look for another one. Sharp and Gray, the men just brought in by Jockstein into the Scottish squad for the games against England and Iceland, have combined superbly. A Scottish goal that puts Everton 1-0 into the lead. Well, on the bench now, I wonder what the feelings are.
Hey! John Bailey. Back with us again. That was the goal you wanted, wasn't it? You can't get me better here now. Oh, fantastic. It was always going to come, we thought, and Sharpie's done brilliant there. Put one back for Andy, and 1-0. Let's just hope we can get another one, and that, you know, probably put the result beyond doubt. Fantastic. Very exciting.
Here's Ratcliffe. Still got to stay composed. They've still not got to take chances. They've still got to stay on watch. There's still a long way to go. But here come Everton again. Bracewell looking to get Sheedy in. He's got some support from Graham Sharp. The cross coming in, and this time the keeper holding it. for safety. And I think it won't be long before Rapid bring, you can see in the picture there, gentleman in the light trousers, Otto Baric, the trainer. And he's going to bring on the number 15, Johan Gross. Still no Panenka. And it's Packelt who is coming off, who in fact was one of the attackers who they thought might trouble Everton most. Scored the goal, in fact, at Old Trafford, but eventually knocked out Celtic. That's not Kevin Richardson, let me tell you. That is Johan Gross. Well, here come Rapid Vienna again. And it'll be their throw. Also, I noticed that Panenka is warming up. The midfielder who they hope might marshal something in the middle of the field. Browneder. Here's Trevor Stephen. Just can't get it away at the moment. Frischtig trying to seek out Frankel, but the ball's gone into touch. It's gone for a throw. It must have just flicked off an Everton boot. Browneder. Frischtig. Everton trying to cover all the angles, but he's found Hans Frankel. But Bracewell, that unspectacular but so effective player in the midfield, gets it away to Andy Gray, the scorer of the Everton goal. If you've just joined us, the glad tidings from Rotterdam, Everton leading by 1-0. Free kick. And Stevens will take it. Dargo away. Here's Gary Stevens. Trying to get Stevens in again. And right across the face of that Rapid goal. Now there could be a break on. Gross with fresh legs. Getting past Bracewell. Frankel there. Can he finish it off? Reed is there doing well. And finding Stephen. And now it's with Van den Hauwe. Sharp. Stevens outside here. And the cross is met by Weber. Sharp again. The cross towards Andy Gray. Knocks it down this time for Pat Van den Hauwe. Kevin Sheedy on the far side. A good cross coming in. And Weber stretched to the limit to get a header to that one. And Bracewell's shot is high and wide. And a goal kick to Rapid Vienna. Weber with the kick. Mountfield with the header. Mountfield again, a slight miss kick. Reiner. Frischtig. Showing all the skill to get past Reed. Feinhofer, that should be easy for Southall, and it is. So we now have Everton leading by 1-0 with 19 minutes of the second half gone. Vanden Hauwe playing it forward. Here's Keenast. Well, they may have got Vanden Hauwe caught a little too far forward. The cross coming in, but Ratcliffe is there. Oh, good play by Bracewell. Sharp lurking away on the left flank. Peter Reid. Sharp wanting it again. Perfect pass, or is it, for Gary Stevens? Played in for Andy Gray. Good, confident passing movement here by Everton. Reid leading by 1-0. Bracewell. And again, getting it back. Everton fans are enjoying this. Bracewell again, but can they find the explosive finish? The dummy by Stephen. It's Paul Bracewell again, the little chip in for Trevor Stephen. Oh, a magnificent save. Some save there by Consell. But what a lovely piece of play by Trevor Stephen. Making that brilliant shooting chance for himself, and a fine piece of keeping. Brian Clough, let's see the corner first, Brian, and then we'll see what Gary Stevens can do here. It's a deep one again. Andy Gray there with his header, and that was nodded away by Gargo. That would have gone in. Quality play by Trevor Stephen.
They've got in the Guinness Book of Records a number of times that the Everton played the ball then and eventually created a magnificent chance. I thought he was going to score, actually, and I think he thought he was going to.
Well, the other news is that down on the bench, Antonin Panenka, the substitutes, will shortly be coming on for Rapid Vienna. Gary Stevens, a little flick there, and here's Trevor Stephen on his way again. Sharp's gone to the near post. Gray's at the back post. Played down this time for Graham Sharp. Hit by Gary Stevens away over the top. And they're going to bring Panenka on and take off Rudy Weinhofer. Substitution now being made. There's Panenka. What a character he is. 37 years old. Over 60 caps for Czechoslovakia. You may remember he scored that dramatic penalty winner for Czechoslovakia against West Germany in the European Championship final way back in 1976. Well, that will mean one or two things with Panenka, who surprisingly has gone right forward with Frankel and not into the midfield. One thing it'll mean for sure is that Everton now must certainly not under any circumstances concede a free kick within shooting range just outside the penalty area, because Panenka is absolute dynamite with those, with some swerving free kicks. He will also tend, I would have thought, to quieten things down a little bit in the midfield, compete a little bit, and he's an excellent passer of the ball. But first they've got to get the ball, and at the moment it's Gary Stevens for Everton. Trevor Stephen. Weber. Free kick. Referee having a quick word with Trevor Stephen for that challenge on Gaga. Here's Frischtig. Downfield. Sharp up well. What a nice header inside for Paul Bracewell. Andy Gray hoping to get on the end of it. Does, in fact. But Keenast is there. But Reid plays it wide for Vanden Hauwe, who's had a tremendous game. And now Sheedy with that famous left foot. Well taken out by Weber. A really good piece of play by the Austrian number 5. And here's Panenka. There you see what I mean about the passer of the ball. That's the bit of quality that they've really been lacking as he finds Frankel and now Braunedder. Played towards Frankel. They need to win it in the air, and they do. And it comes now to Kevin Sheedy. Weber. I think the sweeper might well be released for a few more forward runs. That's not a bad ball, but it was well met in the first place by Andon Howe. Panenka quickly pounced, thinking that the whistle may not go, but it did, and it's a free kick to Everton. I know it's one of your favourite sayings, Brian, it only takes a second to score a goal. So in those terms, Neville Southall and his friends have got to stay really alert, even though they're so much on top.
Yes, they'll be on edge until they get the second goal, actually. And then, obviously, they'll be totally relaxed. And I genuinely think they'll get the second one.
Well, it's Ratcliffe. Stay calm, take no chances. There are still 20 minutes left between Everton claiming part 2 of what they hope will be, which I'm sure Ron Atkins is equally sure it won't be, an amazing treble. Having got the League Championship, they would hope to add to it the Cup Winners' Cup, and they'll be looking for that FA Cup on Saturday at Wembley. And I can tell you the buzz right around Holland with all the commentators from right around Europe is that they just can't wait to get to Wembley on Saturday for what they think will be a truly astounding game of football. Well, it's been a very one-sided game here, but Everton are leading by a goal to nil. And it's still close enough for all their territorial advantage to suggest that Everton must remain watchful. And here's Panenka on the ball again. Let's see what he can do with this one. Great quality he's got with his free kicks when he curls them, Kevin Sheedy style, is he's always on target. This is Weber. He's had a really fine game as a sweeper for Rapid. But here come Everton again. Sheedy's ball hoping to release. Trevor Stephen from one end of the field to the other, and in the end pushed away by the number 4 Browneder for another Everton corner. Great ball by Sheedy. Fine run by Trevor Stephen, and some excellent defence by Browneder. Everton still leading by 1 goal to nil, scored by Andy Gray. And if the photographer will just move just a moment for Kevin Sheedy, there's the cross coming in, and it went all the way, and it's in there, and it's Trevor Stephen, and it's the second for Everton. Well, the defence allowed that to go all the way through. Oh, Trevor Stephen was Johnny on the spot. And the Vienna defence must be looking amongst themselves to say how on earth did that get through so many of our defenders and reach Trevor Stephen and put Everton 2-0 ahead. Well, it was the goal you said was bound to come, Brian.
He's deserved the goal as well. He's had two superb chances. I thought he was going to score before they got the corner, but it was a magnificent tackle by one of the Viennese players. But I think that's now sealed it for Everton. They can sit back now, not relax too much, but a little bit of tension will go out of the play. And if they can just knock it around, what will be in the minds now is, let's conserve every single bit of energy we can for Saturday.
Meanwhile, down on the bench.
Well, you predicted that a second goal would kill them off, John Bailey. Is that still the way you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that's enough for us. Be happy to get some more, but the bench feel that I think we've done it now, and that's all we can just keep the ball and keep controlling, maybe get some more goals. We're looking great at the moment. Can't see us getting beat, put it that way.
The view of John Bailey sitting on the Everton substitutes bench as Gary Stevens plays it in, goes beyond Histrich, and a corner for Everton. And it's taken quickly. Even the referee didn't spot that. And the Austrians may well be caught out by it. Gary Stevens with a shot and the keeper behind that one. A word about the work of Howard Kendall, though, Brian, as a fellow manager yourself.
Over the season, or since he was having his bad time the last 2 years, there was petitions and all sorts going around about him, as everybody knows, a couple of years ago. The Everton chairman kept faith with him, and this is the reward that the board of directors have got. They've got a superb young manager, they've got a magnificent young team, and I am of the opinion they'll be a force for many a year.
Well, they're under a bit of trouble there at the moment, but in the end they got it away. Keenast. If they're going to do anything, they need to pull something back quickly. Yes, you get a feeling that this is a side that can last and last.
Well, the very composition of the side, the back four, are as young as, if not younger than anybody in the Football League. The goalkeeper is, or has had, such a superb season, and he's only 26. And you can keep going right up to the young men at the front. Young Sharp, I think, is only 22, 23.
Now it's Reed. Here's Sharp again. And again, just couldn't keep it in. I know you've had your differences with Graham Sharp, Brian, which have been very public over the last few days. But tonight he's played an excellent part up front for Everton.
There wasn't any differences. He was just out of order what he did at Everton. There's no differences there. I told him about it on Saturday, and if I see him doing it again, I'll tell him again.
Will you also tell him well done for tonight?
Of course. And as I described the goal, he played, when Everton scored the first goal, he was playing with all the class of an inside forward, never mind a striker, because that was a superb goal.
Well, here's Gary Stevens looking for one himself. But stopped that time by Weber. But a free kick given against Rapid Vienna to Everton. Referee certainly kept a very firm check on everything tonight. He may have disallowed a goal that we felt should have been given to Andy Gray in the first half, but Everton have made up for it in the second. Here's Gray again, trying to chip that one through. Well, Neville Southall just a moment ago was a good 25 yards outside his penalty area. He's got to get back now, although Gary Stevens is there. And Rapid Vienna, at the moment of being outclassed, and just cannot get into the game. Well, the Everton fans are chanting champions. And they're also putting on a display tonight that'll be seen right around the world. And we'll give warning, as Brian himself was saying, for a few years to come. Such a quality and a confidence about them. Although Reed brings down Brownedder there, concedes the free kick. Inside the last 15 minutes. Joyous news from Rotterdam, if you just joined us. Everton are winning this European Cup Winners' Cup final by 2 goals to 0. Andy Gray and Trevor Stephen, the scorers. Keenast. Weber. Panenka. It will truly need some magic from him now to pull this game around. It's a lovely ball that he's played there, but Chris will not get to it. Well, the cry going up around me is, are you watching Manchester with Saturday in mind? You can be sure 100% that every Manchester United player is watching it, and we know for a fact that their manager is too. It's an interesting psychological thought, Brian, as to just how Everton now will relate to Saturday after this one.
Well, I was interested in Howard Kendall's words. It'll be just another match. A little bit of oversimplification there, but I know exactly what he means. Once again, having got this out of the way tonight and 2 trophies chucked on the mantle shelf, psychologically they'll go in with a tremendous cushion of confidence. But just remember that the cup final at Wembley is a cup final and just another cup tie as well. And as Ron knows, it's over 90 minutes and anything can happen in a cup tie.
Well, here's Gary Stevens for Everton, getting it back a long way to certainly on the night underworked Neville Southall. I don't think Neville's had a really serious shot to save. and certainly hasn't had a serious alarm. But after the season he's had, well, maybe he deserves that sort of rest. He's had an absolutely brilliant season, of course. Reid can't reach that. Panenka can. And the ball played quickly forward, but Ristich is offside. Have no fears on Merseyside. The flag is up. Here comes Peter Reid. Offside against Graham Sharp. Panenka playing really deep now, but still getting his passes in. Keenas trying to get it through to Krankel, who's hardly shown tonight. But an offside flag is up, this time against Krankel. Wasn't much in that one. A little under 10 minutes left. I just wonder what Howard Kendall thinks about it all now. This is Weber. Well, I'd be interested to know, with Elton Wellesby down there, I think Howard Kendall's gone to sit next to him. I just wonder whether we can get a word with the Everton manager. No, apparently we can't. Well, one thing is for sure, and that is that he must be mighty pleased with the way his men in blue are playing tonight. 2-0 up inside the last 10 minutes. Ristich. Frankia flares onto the field there, as you can see, which is a bit stupid. And Gross making a great run. And Southall, for the first time, called into action and responds superbly. Well, there's a bit of class there, Brian. He's had so little to do. And when suddenly called upon, with about 82 minutes of the game gone, produces reactions like that.
He stood up straight and he kept his eye on the ball, and goalkeepers like a little bit more to do, as you well know. But the way he's playing at our place on Saturday, the ball seemed to stick to him like glue, and he's getting in the way of 99% of everything.
Reid. Panenka. Oh, what a good ball there. Oh, that could be a free kick, or it could be a penalty. It's not a penalty. The linesman has kept his flag by his side and shown that it's a free kick right outside the penalty area, the very thing that Everton didn't want to give away. Panenka's already got the ball there. That wall has got to be built strongly and securely, and Southall behind it has got to be really alert. There's still 7 minutes left, and if Rapid Vienna could get a breakthrough now, all our talk about Everton winning could become premature. Here's the kick, and it hits the wall.
I'll be interested, Brian, in what UEFA are going to do about all these rockets that appear to be coming on the field, and certainly from the Rapid Vienna end.
Correct.
Because we hear a lot of criticism about our lot wherever we go within Europe. I'll be interested to see what their officials do to the Viennese.
And wouldn't you have thought, with the events that we've had to endure over the last few days, it takes some sort of idiot to do that sort of thing?
Well, I just can't understand them. I had lunch in a square at... in Rotterdam today with some prison warders from Liverpool, and we were just saying what a magnificent ambassadors the Everton fans were, and now we've got the opposition idiot getting flares onto the field.
Well, they are being made to suffer at the moment, although the flag is up for an offside against Graham Sharp, which was a curious decision, I must say. He looked okay to me. You're quite right about the Everton fans, and thus far that has been the case, and let's hope it stays that way. They've been magnificent ambassadors, so much so that I think in one of the squares in the town, the police, in fact, made out a football pitch and had the local police playing Everton fans in a football game at lunchtime. So that's... Oh, here's a chance for Krenkel. Krenkel! Well, what seemed impossible has happened. Rapid Vienna have found a breakthrough. Krenkel looking suspiciously offside, but the flag stayed down. Has brought Rapid Vienna dramatically back into the game with just 5 minutes left. Two-one.
It's amazing what certain decisions can do in football. That looked offside from where they were sitting. Everton scored a goal that didn't look offside.
Now here's Sheedy. Well, there's the answer. Take that. And if there were any lingering doubts for just a moment, that faithful left foot of Kevin Sheedy has put paid to those. Flying again. A lovely ball by Graham Sharp for Kevin Sheedy.
He takes it absolutely magnificently. Looks up. I think it clips the post and goes in. A beautiful reply.
3-1. 4 minutes left. Kevin Sheedy. And just when there might have been just the odd little bit of twitch amongst Everton and their fans, the reply was absolutely magnificent. Kristich, Southall coming for it. They'd only conceded 1 goal in the European Cup Winners' Cup up to this point at Everton. And Bayern Munich scored in a semi-final. So a Sheedy goal that must have brought some relief to the Everton bench, I would think. Ratcliffe's ball finding Mountfield. He clashed with Gross, whose foot seemed rather high there on the Everton defender. And Mountfield, in fact, clutching his ribs. And Reed finding Sharp. Graham Sharp, who scored in every round. But so far not in this one. Reed. A little over 2 minutes left. Bracewell. Reed. Just playing with them now, Everton. Simple passing, and the Austrians themselves know that it's all up. The First Division Championship is theirs. The second leg of the treble is now on. And Everton's thoughts, in a matter of a couple of minutes or so, will start to turn to Wembley, to Manchester United, and to Saturday. Sheedy first, though. Gray tackling back. Well, the Austrians said they respected Everton as a fine side with no obvious weaknesses in it. And that really has proved to be the case tonight. About a minute or so left. But here's Panenka. Gary Stevens getting it away. Sharp up well. Panenka again. Sheedy, scorer of the third goal. Gray, the scorer of the first. If you've just joined us, 3-1 to Everton. Right at the end of this Cup Winners' Cup final in Rotterdam. Gary Stevens. Hit straight at the keeper. Apart from anything else, what do you think this does now for British football again and for your industry in particular, Brian?
Well, it can't do any harm. We're back winning another European trophy. We seem to be in the habit of it over the last 10, 15 years. And I think we'll continue to win European trophies. And nobody's done it better than Everton tonight. They've done it with style, they've done it with class, they've done it with strength, and they've achieved everything without any problems. I think we've had 2 bookings, very, very minor offences, and they're a credit to us.
Well, that's good to hear. And I think most people watching it at home tonight would endorse all of that. It's not the final whistle, but it's a free kick to Rapid. It can't be more than a few seconds away. And Everton are close to winning the European Cup Winners' Cup. Clean us putting it through. The flag is up. It's offside. Free kick to Everton. Where's Howard? Howard's not down there. They're nearly there. And now they are there. Everton have won it by 3 goals to 1. The goals from Gray, Stephen and Sheedy. Frankel replying to Rapid Vienna. Let's go down onto the touchline in Elton Wellesby with Howard Kendall.
Well, Howard Kendall, well done. Thank you very much indeed. An immediate reaction to that.
You've seen something special tonight. That was an unbelievable performance. Tremendous.
What is the one aspect of it that really delighted you more than anything else?
I thought every one of our players was absolutely magnificent. It was a team performance. You couldn't see any better. That was absolutely brilliant.
The goals came at such a great time too, didn't they?
The third one did, didn't it? We nearly had an extra 2 moments at the end, but I mean, Kevin Sheedy put that one away and it was all over.
At the half-time interval, you'd had so much possession, you hadn't scored. Was there maybe just a little element of doubt there in your mind at all?
No, we had to keep on playing as we were doing. No problems there.
What about the fans? I think they're enjoying it.
We're happy again, aren't we?
Hey, go and enjoy your moment, and well done again. Just stay with us down here for a couple of moments. The jubilation scenes, as you can expect, are fantastic. Peter Reid is with us. Peter.
Won the second one, so 2 jigs tonight and then out there on Saturday. I'd like to say thanks to all them fans. Been absolutely brilliant.
Peter, well done. Kevin Ratcliffe, you're going to lift that cup in a minute, Kevin.
Well, I hope so anyway. Nobody's going to get me there before me anyway. Brilliant.
The club's first European trophy, what does it mean?
Great deal to me, a great deal to the fans and a great deal to the club. Brilliant.
Kevin, thanks a lot. Andy Gray's with us too.
This is getting habit. You interviewed me straight after game.
People are going to start talking, aren't they? You scored the vital first goal, and it was that.
No, I think the second one's always the most vital one. To be fair, I got the breakthrough that we needed, and we're just really unlucky not to have first half. But I'm absolutely delighted, obviously. Now let's go for the treble.
Howard said it was one of the great team performances.
I think we're absolutely superb. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And I'll hand you over to Trevor Stevens.
Oh, he's a real pro. Yes, Trevor Stevens. Let's not get the name wrong, but crying out loud. The second goal must have given you a great thrill.
So I had a good chance earlier on, about 10 minutes before. I managed to turn in the box and the keeper made a good save. Thought I should have scored from there, actually. But in the end, I got the chance in front of the goal and then directly scored.
Well, we'll have to let you go. You need to get that medal now. Thanks, Trevor. Back to Brian now for these scenes as Everton receive the European Cup Winners' Cup.
Thank you, Elton. It was great to get those dues right after the finish there. And now the big moment. They've already had the First Division Championship trophy presented to them. Now it's the turn of the European Cup Winners' Cup to go back to Goodison Park. Slight hiccup, as we always seem to get. The presentation, in fact, to be made by Mr. Jacques Georges from France, who is the president of UEFA. Well, it's been pretty plain sailing for Everton most of the night here in Rotterdam. This might almost be the hardest journey of all. And the Everton fans, 20,000 of them and more in the stadium in Rotterdam. A joyous night for them, and certainly their team has done British football proud as Kevin Ratcliffe raises the European Cup Winners' Cup. just had that minor scare 5 minutes or so from the end when Krankel scored his goal and the lead was whittled to 2-1. But Sheedy's immediate response put Everton back into great heart and made sure of a night that they never really ever looked like losing. And in the meantime, the Austrian players almost shocked and numbed really on the field there. They really don't know quite what's hit them, and they were never truly in the game.
There's jubilation among the Everton players and among their fans, and in the words of Brian Clough, doing it deservedly with class, strength and style. Well, at this point we must leave viewers in Perth and Adelaide. Thank you for being with us, and we hope you can join us at this time next week when we bring you the second leg of the UEFA Cup final.
An Italian masterpiece from Furniture Expo will add a new dimension to your life. Created by the very best craftsmen, our range is waiting for inspection and has been imported just for you. You'll find our assistance and experience in furniture invaluable when choosing your masterpiece. Our bulk buying system now makes this exquisite furniture affordable to you. Furniture Expo, 334 Fitzgerald Street, North Perth. Furniture for your way of living.
Near the city in Balcata stands a dealer on solid rock. They call him Big Rock Toyota.
Hi, I'm Colin Rockman. You must see and drive the brilliant new Corolla before you buy any other car. If you don't see Big Rock Toyota, we'll both miss out on a great deal.
At Big Rock Toyota. Big Rock Toyota, that is.
Hi folks, I bought a Buccaneer pool factory direct because they're the professionals. Now they make, sell and install a pool. They do the lot all in one day. My mate Peter Borello has won an Industrial Design Award and now a supermarket. You can buy a pool, a filter and the equipment all at supermarket prices. Come to Buccaneer Pools, Belmont Avenue, Belmont, see Pete and get the best.
See you folks.
Europe is waiting for you at the Restore. Tantalizing cheeses, meats and pasta, aromatic coffees and tempting tidbits from around the world. A large selection of European and Australian wines and liquor. And of course, the Restore's own wide range of famous Farnese wines, made in Australia. Get a taste of Europe today at the Restore, Oxford Street, Leederville or Lake Street, Perth.
Thursday on A Country Practice.
And I'm contemplating murder.
Only Molly seems able to handle Simon's nasty niece.
Now be gentle.
But she's not getting any support from Brendan.
I haven't changed my mind about the council.
A Country Practice, 7:30 Thursday on 7. In the next 72 hours, almost everyone this man trusts will try to kill him. Robert Redford and Faye Dunaway. 3 days of the Condor, 8:35 Saturday on 7.